Welcome back to BVarsity Live. Trevor's a piece of work. He's just a piece of work. You don't. What did you say? You don't like wearing ties?
I don't like wearing ties. I don't like. I don't like.
Yeah, I can see it. You know, because you got to button the top button and it just kind of chokes.
It's a fat thing.
But the reason we're talking about this is because the Liberty boys basketball team in the house and very sharply dressed, by the way, and AJ Sharon's no longer even technically part of the program, and yet still very sharp dressers. Anieus Medrano, Isaiah Hill, and Coach Jeff Hicks in his first season as the head coach. Welcome in, guys. Thanks for being here, and hey, congrats on all the success thus far. And I know there's a long way to go. Starting tonight, you host Garces. Let's start with you, Coach. How has your first year as the head man gone compared to how maybe you thought it would go?
Bad. Oh, sorry.
It's definitely been a lot of fun. A lot more organization than JV for sure. But having a blast. Having your own program is a dream, and especially at Liberty High School where I graduated from, it's a blessing.
What year did you graduate?
2009.
See, I knew I covered you as a player, and it just kills me that now it's one of those other signs you're just getting old. Pretty soon, sons of players are going to start coming through.
And you guys still look the same age.
Yeah, well, I guess that's a blessing, right?
Well, I got to say that I still don't think the best hair on the team is sitting in this room right now.
Who would that be?
Jake.
All right.
That flowing.
I don't know. I kind of dig Isaiah's hair.
You haven't seen.
I'm not gonna lie.
Him and Kadar, him and Kadar have that look to them.
Yeah.
All right. Isaiah, you are new to this team in as far as being on the court. Last year you couldn't play. This year you're out there. What's it been like for you, and how much are you enjoying this season?
Well, this year's just been a learning experience, learning from the seniors and everything. It's been a pretty big leap though from 8th grade. I didn't play last year to sophomore. And just Anieus and Samir, they're getting me through the season.
What's the biggest adjustment for a varsity basketball player who didn't play as a freshman?
The biggest adjustment is probably playing defense, the defensive standpoint.
Just the intensity of it and how hard you have to be on it.
Mm-hmm.
Anieus, you know varsity basketball, obviously, and this is your last hurrah at it.
Yeah.
How have things been as a senior? I know every senior wants to go out on top. They're going to put in every effort to go out on top. What's your experience been like so far?
It's been so fun so far, playing with Isaiah and Kadar and Samir, and just being my teammates. That's pretty much what senior year is all about.
I know AJ Sharon, the former coach.
He lives in Fresno. We don't talk about him anymore.
Fresno Pacific
We're done with
assistant
him.
now. He always talked about culture of this team, Coach. That it seems like that's kind of
but he
one
left.
thing that
Who cares?
Yeah. It ain't his culture anymore. It's your guys' culture now. But it seriously does seem like it's carried over.
Yeah, definitely a foundation. We do everything together. And the guys, if you see them around campus, they're always together. It's a family. And we really preach that here at Liberty High.
But AJ's in Fresno, but I think I can see him from here. He's wearing like a purple and orange shirt.
No, he's probably down the street hanging out, watching the show.
Yeah, he's waiting to come to our game tonight. And,
Yeah.
He's always with us. So
Yeah. The guy does spend a lot of time still here in Bakersfield for specific reasons, so he is still around. I've probably seen him at more basketball games than anybody else, so it is kind of cool. Anieus, for you, knowing that he's still around and then having Hicks come on, I mean, how was the transition for you? It had to have been pretty seamless, right?
Yeah, it wasn't too big of a transformation, but because I knew AJ would teach Coach Hicks some stuff, and then
Coach.
I knew it would just be whatever AJ did taught him, and Coach already knew what to do.
Plus, I coached Anieus his freshman year on the JV team, so we had that built-in relationship along with 3 years in the classroom. So,
what do you teach, Jeff?
I teach geometry, so math. I have Isaiah in my class this year. So
how are these guys as geometry
failing?
students? Let's
No.
Okay.
We'll keep it on the court. They're not bad, but
all right.
they got room for
you
improvement.
got you got to know angles to play basketball.
Yes.
Whether you realize that's what you know or not, you got to know it.
Well,
and
that's
as shooters, Liberty High, we can shoot a little bit, but
that's one thing I want to get into is that without the Clement brothers in, you don't have anybody that gets on the court more than a couple minutes a game. Everybody that's 1 through 8 is under 6 foot for you guys.
You better shoot.
Yeah, so you don't have.
we got to give Fringer some credit. He's 6'1".
No, he is not 6'1". There is no way in the world Luke is 6'1".
All right.
Maybe with
Fair.
high heels on. Come on, no, So we're gonna go with 6 foot. I'm gonna leave it there. How do you, as a coach, kind of combat when you go up against teams like Centennial that will have Don Robles, or with Garces that'll have Isaiah Hughes, or really when you look at like BHS with Ronnie Stapp and along the lines, how do you combat those different things? Or like when you guys saw Ridgeview and the two boys, how do you combat that as you go in, because you're going to probably see Clovis Noah at some point. They got Ben Herrera 6'6". What do you do as a coach?
Well, we got to be physical and feisty. For us, rebounding is the most difficult part, and we got to box out and play tough. Against teams like that, we try to speed them up with our guards. Defense is tough, but then they have to come down the other end and guard us.
Right.
So that's kind of one of our advantages too. And just kind of like D'Antoni, how he can get the ball moving. They play at such a high pace. We kind of want to play the same way.
All right.
Isaiah, is it the same thing for you where, you guys understand that you're all small guys, but you can move the ball around well, and you guys can all shoot well, that that you can just wait and find that open opportunity?
Yeah, most definitely. It makes the game a lot easier when you have shooters like Anieus and Samir on the court. You just have to drive to the paint and kick it out to them, and from there it's better.
Anieus, you all right?
It's on a roll, right?
Yeah, there we go.
Had to finish that for you.
Thank you.
You take a look at the rest of the Division I. When you're looking at it, and I know league isn't done yet, you kind of look at the grand scope. Is this as competitive as you've seen Division I since you've been a varsity player?
Yeah, there's a lot of good teams this year. I think BHS, Clovis North, Clovis West, Central. So just excited to see how playoffs show out.
I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, Coach, as a younger coach, a varsity head coach, you see that from time to time. But I think a lot of people sort of maybe lower their expectations, say he's kind of learning on the job, he's younger. You don't get that at Liberty. I mean, the expectations are what they are. You guys are supposed to compete for championships, league championships, valley championships. How have you sort of dealt with that? And do you actually feel more pressure as the head coach than maybe you did when you were at the end of the bench?
Yeah, well, my dad, actually, when Liberty opened in 1999, he coached at Liberty High School. So
was he the very first year?
Yes, he was. Well, he was the JV coach, Stan Davis.
Okay,
from
that's right.
Independence.
And then your dad, Andy.
Yep, and we won the Valley Championship when he was there. And, just being a young coach, it's a lot of fun, but I have great mentors behind me. Obviously, A.J. Sharon, my dad, Coach Stan. So a lot of guys that I trust in and help me along in the process. But it's a lot of fun.
Son of a coach, friends with a coach. Always wanted to be a coach? Is it that? I mean,
well, ultimately, as a player, I wanted to play at the next level.
Right.
I decided to go for my education instead. I wasn't going to play in the NBA, so I knew coaching was the next best option. So I'm having a blast. Yeah. I love coaching these guys. I love my team.
How do you guys like Coach Hicks? I mean, a little bit of a feel like AJ as far as he's your coach and your mentor, but also you feel like you can kind of connect with him also. Is that true?
Yeah, like Jeff said. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. But I don't think it's too big of a transformation before, like we were saying. But they're pretty much like the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, same people.
Isaiah, how about you? I mean, there's almost that peer connection as well as a coach-player connection, right?
Yeah. Well, Coach Jeff, he's a great coach, and not just a great coach, but he's a great man off the court. And just being able to be with him and trust him through the process, I'll get through my 4 years with him.
I was going to ask you. You talked about being the playmaker, getting in the paint, distributing to your shooters. Is that the kind of game you like to play, dropping dimes, being the distributor, or would you rather score more? I mean, I know as the younger guy, sometimes you got to defer.
Yeah.
But what would you prefer to do?
It doesn't really matter to me, just as long as we get the win at the end of the day. But I like doing both.
Isaiah he wants to be the go-to guy. But he's definitely taken on a great role this year with having Anieus and Samir some scores. But
Isaiah will score some points too. He scored some points the other night.
Definitely in the future, you'll see a lot of Isaiah Hill through.
That's
Liberty
actually
basketball.
what I want to get into now. Isaiah, you got an offer from UOP.
Yeah.
High-end basketball player, obviously you are. Your brother's at Fresno Pacific playing for AJ.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, where is his ceiling? We've seen how great Anieus has been over the last 3 years. Where is Isaiah's ceiling? Is there one?
Yeah, I don't. Right now, I think it's sky's the limit. He has some skill that I've never seen before. He makes plays, that are so shocking and exciting as a coach to see that you can't teach. He has all those intangibles that again, we can show him some of the basic fundamentals, but he runs with it, and it's really exciting as a coach.
Anieus, you were the young buck a few years ago. What do you see out of Isaiah, as a sophomore, and what he can do over the next 3 years?
I think he can do a lot. Just his playmaking ability is really good. Can't wait to see how he progresses junior, senior year. He's going to be unstoppable.
What about this year? I mean, you've got Garces tonight. You got BHS next week. The slate doesn't get any easier for you guys. You play Frontier, and you beat them by single digits. So every night in the SWL is hard. Just talk about what you've seen out of this league right now, Jeff, and what you're going to see over the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, every game's going to be a battle. We saw that playing at Frontier and at Stockdale. You go into those hostile environments, and you have to be ready to play. And you have to play a complete game. I think that's the difference for me going from JV to varsity. JV, you could play 2 good quarters, and that's enough. Varsity, you really have to have a complete game, especially as we play BHS, Centennial, and tonight Garces.
What was that one big moment as a first-year head coach on the varsity level where you went, whoa, I did not expect this to have to happen? Do you remember? Was there anything like that for you on the court?
There's different times. I mean, obviously when we played in the current schools tournament, playing Ridgeview, and they're, giving us a licking, beating us pretty bad, it really exposes you. And I think I love the challenge. It showed our guys and showed me that, wow, I have to get a lot better. And from then on, we've been working hard. We had a crazy game when we played Bullard in the Clovis Elks tournament. We were down 17 at the end of the third quarter and came back and won. And so that was a big momentum game for us. And we're kind of running with that right now. So
You were down 17, then that was the second time you played Bullard, right? I'm looking at your schedule here.
The second time, the night before we won in double overtime against Edison, that Clovis Elks tournament was pretty crazy. So
yeah, pretty good tournament for you guys. And I'm looking through the schedule, and I can't help but notice you now have a career record against Stan Davis, the old coach, right? And
he got the best of me in our first one, so hopefully in the future
can even
change
that up.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But 16-5, guys. Let's talk a little bit about the future now. Trevor and I always talk about this because it's crazy. I've been in Bakersfield since 2007. Coach, you were in high school starting in 06 or 05, even fall of 05. Yeah. And that is the year that the Valley Championships moved to Fresno. And now Liberty has not been Division I all that time. You guys won a D2 title. But there has not been a Bakersfield team to make the D1 final in those 12 years. How much would it mean to Anieus to be the first ones, even to play in that game?
It'd mean a lot. That's always been my dream ever since playing on varsity, to go to Selland and win a Valley title.
Isaiah, have you seen games up there at Selland? Have you been to the Valleys?
No, I haven't.
So you're waiting. You want to be the first time as a player.
Yeah. So this year, that's been my goal since 8th grade, and ever since I've been playing basketball, I just want to win the Valley Championship.
Does this team have what it takes, Jeff? We talk about the lack of an inside game, really. I mean, you got to play a certain way. How far can that way take you?
Yeah, we'll see. I think definitely we can shoot with the best of them. So if we get hot, we're definitely a team to be reckoned with. But we've got to play some defense also. So
at this point, I mean, Clovis North has played really well. They beat Clovis West last week. Clovis West has played really well. They have wins over BHS, wins over you guys, wins over Ridgeview. You guys are right there in the mix too. BHS is right there in the mix. I think you have to throw Central in there.
Definitely.
Edison is kind of a team that you don't know what you're going to get out of them night in and night out. And Bullard is always a tough team with Amundsen coaching them. That's deep, man.
Yes,
that's
definitely
fun. And like the Valley Finals aren't just going to be great. The semifinals, the quarterfinals are going to be fantastic. D1.
Definitely, there's a lot of good teams.
I want to ask you, because we can take an extra minute here. We can have a shorter final segment, but Coach, your opinion? It just seems, looking at it from afar, a lot of higher scores. Not just this year, but the last couple of years in high school basketball. Is that a faster paced game? Just better offensive teams around here? What do you owe that change to?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. I think teams are doing a lot more pressuring the ball and getting the ball out of the net and pushing it, and not so much set offense. And I think that if you look into the NBA, you see that a lot.
That trend is, I was going to say, in college basketball and the NBA is headed the same way.
Yeah, I mean, definitely very skilled offensive players. I think with Steph Curry and guys like that, kids are growing up with a lot more skill. The skill level is getting higher and higher. So
Yeah, you look at
especially ball handling. You watch Steph Curry kids grow up watching mixtapes and working on their.
And frankly, it's more fun to play and watch those type of games than the games where I mean, Isaiah, you don't want to take it across half court and have to wait for the rest of your teammates and slow it down.
Yep.
We don't have a big to wait for, so
well,
we better get it going.
There's that
get
too.
It moving.
Yeah, because
if there's a lane to the basket, you better take it.
You got that big 6'1" lumbering
Yeah, there we
Luke Fringer
go.
coming down.
All right,
That's a safety coming down.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we
6'1",
appreciate you guys
get
being
outta
with
here.
us on a game night. Good luck against Garcias tonight the rest of the way. Thanks
you
so
very
much
much.
for being here. We're going to take our last break on BVarsity Live. We'll wrap things up, talk a little football all area right after this.